Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Cleantech Lithium Executive Chairman, Dr. Steve Kesler. Steve, good to speak with you today. You've reached another milestone after completing the first stage of production from your DLE pilot plant, as well as successful downstream process test work. Can you tell us more about what you've achieved here?
Yeah, we've been putting out information on the progress of our DLE plant over the course of the last month or so. And we just put out additional results today, very comprehensive results, which really demonstrate how successful the application of the DLE process is to our brine at Laguna Verde. We've been running the pilot plant for a few months. We've now processed 1,200 cubic meters over 384 hours through multiple, I think 14 cycles. And it's demonstrated the consistency and stability of the process. Now, we've shown that we're getting 95% recovery of lithium from the brine in the adsorption stage of the DLE, and overall recovery after the elution stage is 88%. And that compares to the recovery rates of conventional evaporation ponds of 40 to 45%. So it demonstrates that DLE is a far more efficient process for recovering lithium. And what we've also shown is that the resin is very selective. It not only recovers the lithium, but the results show we have very good rejection of the other major impurities, over 99% of the calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, etc. So we make a nice, clean, concentrated eluate of lithium chloride. And that then goes to the next stage. Now, we've demonstrated over the course of the last few months, we've made 88 cubic meters of this concentrated eluate at over 2,000 ppm lithium. The eluate is pumped into flexi tanks into a conventional container and then shipped off to the plant in Chicago, where we will be doing the downstream processing. The first has already arrived to our on the way, and the fourth container is waiting to be shipped at the port. What we also did fairly recently was to ship an introductory sample of 200 liters to Conductive Energy, who are doing the downstream processing, to use to set up their plant and demonstrate that the process will produce battery grade lithium carbonate. And they've done initial test work with that. And shown that our concentrated eluate brine can be increased in concentration using reverse osmosis and forward osmosis to 18,000 ppm. The last traces of calcium and magnesium removed by ion exchange, and the bit of boron that gets through also removed by ion exchange. Then the addition of sodium carbonate to precipitate a lithium carbonate precipitate, which is washed, dried, and the results show battery grade 99.5% lithium carbonate. And that's very, very important that we've seen them do that in Chicago, and that now that we have large quantities of eluate, they'll be processing that in August to start making large quantities of battery grade lithium carbonate. And as I say, that's a very important step for us, because that allows us to introduce our material to potential off-takers and strategic investors who want good material. And what we're saying, not only is it battery grade material, but it is green, sustainable lithium made with using renewable energy, so very low carbon footprint, very low water consumption. And so it should be demonstrable as a sustainable lithium going into the supply chains of Europe and the United States, which is what those governments want to see. So we think this is a very important stage for us.
Are you encouraged by your progress, Steve?
Yes, yeah, I think the pilot plant has demonstrated that physically it works well. As I say, the plant was provided by Sunresin, the adsorbent by Lanshan. It's performed very well, very stably. So the process has been demonstrated. And I think there's always a few skeptics out there amongst the analyst community concerned whether DLE can be advanced into commercial production. And what we're saying, to them is, look, these are the results we're getting. Come and have a look. You can look at us processing the brine through the plant. You can see the battery grade lithium carbonate being produced, and it is a demonstration that the DLE process is eminently feasible for our brines in Chile. So I think we've made very good progress. And now we're going on into the next stage. We are doing the engineering work as part of the pre-feasibility study, and that will continue through until the end of the year. So this is, the first phase is demonstration that the DLE process works for our brine.
Steve, I hope you'll keep us updated with any further progress. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
That's a pleasure, Stephen. Anytime.
That's Cleantech Lithium Executive Chairman, Dr. Steve Kesler.